Do you have a pile of Amazon boxes sitting in your garage right now? Maybe some cereal boxes, paper towel rolls, or that mountain of cardboard from the holidays that you just don't know what to do with? What if I told you that cardboard, yes, plain old boring cardboard, could become the secret ingredient to creating the richest, darkest compost you've ever seen? And not in months, but in just 10 days. I'm going to show you exactly how I turned a stack of cardboard boxes into black gold compost in 10 days. No fancy equipment, no expensive additives, just a simple method that works so well, you'll never look at cardboard the same way again. Here's the thing about cardboard that most gardeners don't realize. We've all been told that cardboard is great for composting, right? It's a brown material, it's carbon-rich, it breaks down naturally. But then you throw some cardboard in your compost pile and 6 months later, it's still sitting there. Maybe it's a little softer, maybe the edges are starting to fray, but it's basically still cardboard. That's because most people are composting cardboard completely wrong. They're treating it like leaves or grass clippings, and cardboard needs a totally different approach. The problem isn't the cardboard, it's how we're preparing it. Let me explain what's actually happening at the microscopic level. Cardboard has a carbon-to-nitrogen ratio of about 350 to 1. That means for every 350 parts of carbon, there's only 1 part of nitrogen. Now the microbes that break down organic matter, they need a ratio closer to 25 or 30 to 1 to really thrive. When you just toss whole cardboard into your compost, those microbes are basically starving for nitrogen. They're trying to break down all that carbon, but they don't have the fuel they need. It's like asking someone to run a marathon without giving them any food. They might eventually finish, but it's going to take forever, and they're going to struggle the whole way. But when we give those microbes the right ratio of carbon to nitrogen, when we prepare the cardboard properly, and when we create the perfect environment, magic happens. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use 3 key strategies that will transform your cardboard in just 10 days. First, we're going to shred that cardboard into tiny pieces, and I mean tiny. Not big chunks, not strips, but confetti-sized pieces that give those microbes maximum surface area to work with. Second, we're going to soak it. We're going to saturate those cardboard fibers with water until they're soft and ready to break down. And third, this is the secret weapon. We're going to layer it with high nitrogen materials that will supercharge the decomposition process. Let me show you exactly how this works. I started with about 20 pounds of cardboard, Amazon boxes, cereal boxes, toilet paper rolls, basically anything that's plain brown cardboard without a glossy coating or heavy ink. First step, shredding. Now you can use a paper shredder if you have one, but honestly, I just used my hands and tore everything into pieces about the size of a postage stamp. Some people use a lawnmower. You just spread the cardboard on the ground and run over it a few times. That works great too. This took me about 30 minutes and I ended up with this huge pile of shredded cardboard. Already you can see how much more surface area we've created. Next, the soaking. I filled a large bin with water and dumped all that shredded cardboard in. I pushed it down, made sure every piece was saturated, and let it sit for 24 hours. When I came back the next day, the cardboard had absorbed so much water it felt like wet paper pulp. The fibers were soft, pliable, almost falling apart in my hands. This is exactly what we want. Now here's where the transformation really begins. I drained off the excess water. You want it moist like a wrung-out sponge, not dripping wet, and started building my compost pile. Layer 1, about 3 inches of that soaked, shredded cardboard. Layer 2, 1 inch of fresh grass clippings. This is our nitrogen source. Grass clippings have a carbon-to-nitrogen ratio of about 20 to 1, which is perfect for balancing out that cardboard. Layer 3, a thin layer of finished compost from my existing pile. This is like adding a starter culture. It's full of active microbes that will immediately start working on breaking down the cardboard. Then I repeated these layers. Cardboard, grass clippings, finished compost. Cardboard, grass clippings, finished compost. I kept going until I had a pile about 3 feet tall and 3 feet wide. Now, if you don't have grass clippings, you can use kitchen scraps, coffee grounds, or even a high nitrogen fertilizer like blood meal. The key is getting that nitrogen in there to feed the microbes. Within 24 hours, something incredible started happening. I stuck my compost thermometer into the center of the pile, and it read 145 degrees Fahrenheit. This is hot composting at its finest, when microbes have the perfect ratio of carbon to nitrogen, plenty of oxygen, and the right moisture level. They reproduce like crazy, and all that microbial activity generates heat. Lots of heat. That heat is doing 2 things. First, It's speeding up the decomposition process exponentially. What would take months at 60 or 70 degrees happens in days, at 140 degrees. Second, it's breaking down those tough cellulose fibers in the cardboard. Cardboard is made from wood pulp, and those plant fibers are designed to be strong and resistant. But at these high temperatures, they start to dissolve. Every 3 days, I turned the pile. I used a pitchfork to move the outside material to the center and the center material to the outside. This does two things. It adds oxygen, which the microbes need, and it ensures everything gets exposed to those high temperatures. Day 3. The cardboard pieces were noticeably smaller and darker. You could still see some cardboard texture, but it was breaking down fast. Day 6. When I turned the pile, I could barely distinguish the cardboard from the grass clippings. Everything was starting to blend together into this dark, crumbly material. The temperature was still holding at 135 to 140 degrees. Day 9. This is where it got really exciting. The pile had shrunk to about half its original size. When I grabbed a handful, it was dark brown, almost black, with a rich earthy smell. There were still a few small pieces of cardboard visible, but they were soft and falling apart. Day 10. I turned the pile one more time and let it cool for a few hours. When I came back and sifted through it, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. That cardboard, those Amazon boxes that would have sat in a landfill for years, had completely transformed into the most beautiful, rich compost. Look at this. This is pure black gold. It's dark, it's crumbly, it smells like forest floor. When I squeeze it, it holds together but breaks apart easily. This is exactly what you want. And here's the crazy part. I did a side-by-side comparison. I took some of this 10-day cardboard compost and some compost from my regular pile that's been going for 6 months. I mixed each one into separate pots with the same soil and planted the same tomato seedlings. After 2 weeks, the plants in the cardboard compost were noticeably bigger, darker green, and more vigorous. That's because this hot composting process created such nutrient-rich material. Now, a few quick tips if you want to try this yourself. Temperature is key. If your pile isn't heating up, you probably need more nitrogen. Add more grass clippings or kitchen scraps. If it's too wet and smells bad, add more shredded cardboard to absorb the moisture. If it's too dry, add water when you turn it. Remember, moist like a wrung-out sponge, and size matters. You need at least a 3-foot by 3-foot pile to generate and hold enough heat. Smaller piles won't get hot enough. So there you have it. 10 days from cardboard boxes to black gold compost. No expensive equipment, no complicated process, just simple layering and turning. The next time you break down an Amazon box, don't just toss it in the recycling bin. Turn it into the richest compost your garden has ever seen. If you want more composting tips, hit that subscribe button and give us a like. And if you try this method, leave a comment and let me know how it works for you. Now get out there and start turning that cardboard into black gold.